Introduce yourselves, name, age, and where you're from. My name is Cameron. I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Wilson, North Carolina.
My name is Talea. I'm 18 years old, and I am from Wilson, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Adriana. I am 21 years old and also from Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay, Wilson in the house.
Okay, Big Wilson 252. All right. So the first question is, what does the term Black woman feel like to you? Let that sink in.
Let's see.
To me, it feels like, I say like strong empowerment. What's my main two? I feel like as Black women, we go through a lot, as mothers, as women, being Black, obviously. So I feel like we handle a lot, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
Okay. When I think of Black women, I think of the word perseverance because, like Adriana said, we go through so much, but we always make it through. We just keep pushing no matter, the situation or the circumstances.
Yeah, I would say the same. Coming from, we all have like strong Black women present in our lives. And I think to me it's sort of like a term of endearment. Like they've always had us and had our backs.
Right.
And helped us through difficult times. So yeah, I would say they're very endearing to be around.
Definitely.
Exactly.
how does it feel living as a Black woman in today's present moment?
I think it can be hard at times, but I also think it's very rewarding. We have a lot of different culture. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all still try to stick together as one. And I just feel like I just love being a Black woman. There's so many ways we can express ourselves through our hair, our clothes, our accessories. So, yeah. But also, on the negative side, with our president and it's hard letting a man say what a woman can do with her body. So that's more on the negative side.
Yeah, with white supremacist ideas, I feel like being a Black woman is definitely difficult in the present tense, and we're sort of facing what our ancestors or older Black women in our lives have faced, and it's sort of difficult to relive through, but I feel like it's also like a term of, as you said, like strength and empowerment, that we've sort of begun to love ourselves and not feel so othered within society.
How it feel living as a Black woman in today's present moment? I feel like it just, like Cameron said, negative and positive. The positive side, for me personally, I feel like in a way Black women are getting our props towards us. Like, on TikTok, people are starting to recognize like the influence we have as a culture, not only as women, but as a culture. I feel like people are starting to recognize like how we feel, if that makes sense. And then the negative side, I mean, obviously, like Cameron said, not only our president, but like just people of like all races. I just feel like,
I don't know. I feel like we've been disregarded for a long time. So sort of trying to find a space for ourselves is more present within the now. Like we see more Black actresses, more representation.
Yeah, but I feel like even when we get more Black actresses and more representation, people are finding more reason to hate us for that.
Right.
Like when Chloe, when we had
Halle Bailey?
Mermaid, they hated that she was a Black woman. Like, I feel like even as we're being more recognized in like pop culture, people are just finding more reasons to hate us, which is the negative side. But
Yeah. To add on to Adriana, I think she was also trying to say like, no matter the race, somebody always want to tear a Black woman down. No matter what she do, no matter what she do to please people, they always find something negative to pick out of a Black woman, and sometimes it can tear us down because we aren't always as confident as we should be. We don't always see our beauty, and we don't always think of how strong we are as Black women. So
I feel like that makes sense. I also feel like in some points we also get like disrespected by black men.
Yes.
So I feel like that just makes it even worse for black women because we have black men that are supposed to love black women and young
Right.
people, and then they're just putting us further down than like anybody else
Bottom
did,
of the
which
barrel.
hits harder. I feel like.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, those are beautiful answers. The next question is, have you ever been the only black woman in the room? And what did that feel like?
Have I?
Have I?
It's been many times I've been the only black woman in a room. Like going to a predominantly, I'm not gonna say predominantly, but predominantly white high school. It's been times where I was the only black person, but I also think it, depends on the atmosphere, because at my high school I didn't really feel, left out if I was the only black woman in the room, or I didn't feel like I was judged. Most of the people at my high school, that was really accepting, but then there's times where, I might be, I don't know, somewhere out and about, and like, for example, a neighborhood that's predominantly white, you just feel like they're thinking bad on you, or, how do you afford this house, or how do you afford this car? It's always those thoughts in the back of your head because we see so much on TV, us being like discriminated against, and people coming up with assumptions because they think we don't have wealth as black people.
Yeah.
We went to the same high school, so
Yeah.
I feel like there were times, a lot of times, where I was the only black person in the room, and I feel like that kind of like swayed my view of like me being black, and it made me like have not a hatred, but like a dislike for some people, because everyone was white, they were all Trump supporters, and they was all doing what they had to do, and all the other black people were like just trying to follow along in the white people's footsteps. So at that time, I was trying hard to fit in the narrative, but now I just,
Yeah, you can find yourself doing that a lot, like trying to fit in. If there's, if you're the only one, because you're not trying to embrace it because you don't have nobody to relate to. So it seems like, well, I might as well just fit in with the majority, because it's easier to fit in than to stand out, I think. Like, I'm not gonna say it's easier to fit in, but it's more of a like, more on your mental when you're the only person being different sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Growing up in a predominantly, white area, I always tried to feel more included with the white kids.
Right.
It was so bad to a point where I was like, oh, this perm is real. Like, I am straight.
Oh no.
Yeah. So when I got to Sally B and I was like super proper and I was equated to whiteness, it was sort of strange, I guess, because I had always been like the only black girl.
Right.
But since I've been the only black girl for so long, then I started to conform to, white narratives.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's sort of, you always feel a little othered. But yeah, I feel like that's the only thing. Like, you feel more eccentric when you're around, people that aren't like you.
Yeah. Now I feel like as we gotten older, well, I can only really speak for myself, but like as I gotten older, I feel like if I'm the only black woman in the room, I will embrace it more. Like, I'll be proud to be the only black woman, and show them why black women are so great. And yeah.
especially as a business major, there's only white men in the classroom.
Yeah.
So when I was ever one of the only black people in the classroom, I felt like I was eating it up, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like,
Black excellence at its finest,
Yeah. All right.
That's a big one.
think back to a time where you have seen another black woman, perhaps a stranger, participate in black culture. What was this experience and how did it make you feel? So back then, like I said, when I was in like high school in the 8th grade, obviously I changed a lot now, but when I was in high school, whenever I saw like black people or black women participate in like black culture, I felt like it was at the time like ghetto, if that makes sense. Like people were wearing bonnets out in public. I didn't really like that. Like just the way that we was talking, like AVE, the way that we were, you know, just really doing anything like being in a black space. Like I said, I was around like majority white people, so I felt like it was just a little like inappropriate, if that makes sense. But now when I see black women participating in black culture, I love it. Like I love the cookouts. I love taking care of our hair. You do some like cocoa butter, shea butter. I really do like. I love black women.
Yeah.
I think we just be.
Yeah.
And that's called growth, okay? I would say the same thing. I feel like, you know, bonnets and everything were big, like, no, like, don't do it. And I always see, like, white women participating in it.
Yeah,
It's
like
like,
even
oh.
like white people walk out in their pajamas too. So I
Yeah.
don't really see the difference. Like,
And the pajamas thing, like, you always have to feel presentable.
Yeah.
So when I did see that, it was sort of like, ooh, like.
Yeah.
And I feel like even my mom, who was the blackest of black, would even be like, ooh, why she got a bonnet on, or da-da-da-da-da. And we were sort of perpetrating against our own blackness.
Yeah.
So now, you know, being at an HBCU, especially bonnets everywhere. And I love it. I love it. And there's even like the conversation of, can we wear bonnets to class? And I'm like, well, I don't know. That it's like gray areas, but I do love seeing it every time I do. So it's like,
I do think I agree with y'all. But I do think like for bonnets, for example, I don't think it's always like we're being negative on ourselves, but I think since everyone is already so hard on black women, we, you know, our parents and our, you know, guardians want us to present ourselves in a good way. And I'm not saying bonnets is a, you know, a bad representation, but it's like you didn't, you know, do your hair this morning, or you didn't try to look presentable. And I don't go out in bonnets unless it's like, you know, the hair store. That's kind of
that's
unwritten
a
rule.
black place.
Yeah. But as far as going to class or to Walmart with a bonnet on, I just don't feel like, I just want to present myself better than that. And like I said, I'm not saying bonnets is negative, but I just feel like you should all, because you never know who you might see out, you never know what opportunities happen. If they see a black woman in a bonnet, it's already a negative connotation with that. But I do love our hair, and I love that we can wear bonnets, and, you know, we, like, how black people just get black people, you know? Like, you don't gotta say something, or they be like, you know, my sister, my brother, or us. You already know, like, what they're talking about. Right. So, yeah, but other culture, you know, I love, like you said, the cookouts. Yeah, getting your hair done, everybody doing their hair, lashes.
Dub smash.
Woo. Yeah. Like Kimber was saying, I feel like unfortunately black women are held to a higher standard than everybody else is. Like, I feel like white girls especially wear pajama pants out to class. They have on red pajama pants with a shirt.
Messy bun.
But if we came out
Called
with
ghetto.
pajama pants and a shirt, we're called ghetto or bonnet on. And I feel like even in like workspaces, if that makes sense. Like, I know back then they had the law, and even in the military you couldn't wear locks, or you can't wear your hair a certain way. They tell you to like put it up or keep it up. And so I feel like black women weren't given the chance to express their personality with their hair, which is a part of black culture. Hair is a big part of black culture, and I just feel like that's just...
Yeah, it's sad that we can't like go out to a quick, you know, store run and, you know, wear our bonnet and wear our pajamas without someone thinking, oh, she's ghetto, she's from the hood, she has no home training. So it's just like, in my head, I don't want to prove them like right, even though they don't know. They don't know. That doesn't prove your background, doesn't prove your education level or nothing like that. But I just feel like to keep the stares away, and then, you know, all the stereotypes, it's just, you know, best we present ourselves as we should. Because I think also it's kind of a positive thing that they think so highly of us and that we need a pedestal.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, we look at other races and okay. they can wear that, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know. When you brought up the hair comment, it sort of like goes into like how much we have to maintenance our hair
Yes.
and like pull it every which way
Right.
to sort of be presentable, even if that may not be how our hair was.
That's why we wear the bonnets, because we can't just whip it up in a ponytail and
Exactly.
go out, or it makes you bun. So
And then we went through the middle school stages of blow drying and blow drying.
every day.
Perms, relaxers.
Perms, relaxers, and everything. So now to see like black women be so comfortable with their afros, hello, it's nice to see. It's comforting to see.
And like, why don't, when, I hate to say when a black girl is whitewashed, but why don't people question when they see a black girl with like a group of white girls and she's obviously trying to fit in, and like she got the outfit, the hair, the stiffs.
We didn't have to see
Sorry, but I love we have silk presses, but they gotta be to a certain extent, you know.
Right.
So like the stiff silk press and the hair bows in the hair, and you can tell that's not our culture. Nobody says nothing about that though. Like they
Unless
approve
you're-
that unless you're black.
Right.
Yeah, unless you're black, you can see it. But they act like that's normal. They like us being on their side of the fence, I guess. I don't know. I just had to add that in. Ready for the next question? Okay. What is an experience where you may have felt isolated as a black woman?
I feel like, even like, the same thing with kick and video gaming, people say a lot of racist stuff, like, online. And when I was in kick, there was a lot of, like, racist groups and stuff like that. And I would join them and be like, what's going on? I would be called watermelon owner, gorilla owner, like, just like, certain black names. And then during, like, when I was playing video games online, people would just be like, oh, is that an N-word? Like, N-word. And, like, I just felt like I wasn't invited in, like, online gaming space or, like, on social media platforms. And I feel that's the number one, like, insult with black people online. It's like,
Yeah, with times with Omega.
Oh.
Yeah.
really racist.
Very racist. As soon as they saw that you were a black woman, black of any
They went
nation,
crazy. They went crazy.
They went crazy. And then also, like, I dated outside of my race. I'm currently dating outside of my race. And there have been like times where my partner, or well, my ex-partner, would say something, and I'd just be like, oh, you're not black. I see that now. Like, even like racial undertones, or, you know, microaggressions that he may have not seen. It was very evident to me as a black woman, being like, okay, well, this is not gonna work. So yeah.
It took me a while to think about this answer because I don't know. I try to forget the moments, but this might sound funny, but like, you know, it's a stereotype that black people can't swim. And we're kind of proving it every day sometimes. But hey, so like when I took swimming lessons, all the white people knew how to swim. Only the black people didn't know how to swim. Or when I would go to the beach, and you know, as kids, you make friends with everybody at the resort and in the lazy river. All the other races, they knew how to swim, and it would be me like, oh, okay, I gotta save my floaty. Y'all don't do that. Or try to hurry up. They'll like even like try to do things that you can't do because they know you can't swim.
Put a rubber in your
Right,
face.
and they'll use it to their advantage. So it's just like little things like that, but
I feel isolated right now. Like with everything going on. I just feel like, so I don't even know if there's like a specific. I just feel like the administration, everything. I feel like we've been isolated, and like all the legislation. I think in one of the states they're stopping like certain history to African Americans. They're stopping it in the military, they're stopping it in schools, they're stopping books that we're reading, and I feel like we're being isolated, especially when it comes to like education, because unfortunately a lot of black people can't afford to go to college, and I feel like they're just trying to just make sure that we can't go to school. And I feel especially isolated with that. They're trying to stop Department of Education, fast food, etc. And I feel like I wouldn't have been in college.
That majority
if,
black people
Yeah, I wouldn't have been in college if there wasn't a fast food or if I wasn't getting grants or loans. And I feel like that's the main part where I feel isolated. Like right now, it's kind of crazy.
I got a little question. Like, so how do you guys feel when you hear black moms or even other races saying how, oh, you need to name your child this so they can get a job, or if they look at this name, they're gonna know they're black, they're gonna throw the application out just by reading the name. How do y'all feel with that?
Unfortunately, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it really is. Like, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but people don't know how to pronounce my name half the time. And I feel like if you have like a stereotypical black name on an application, they can be like, oh, this person is black, or not get a job. So I feel like we shouldn't say that black people should name their kids certain things, but I do feel like we should be mindful because we live in a time and a place where like we are obviously judged and treated differently because of like our names, what you look like, etc. So
yeah,
I say you should be mindful when naming your children, for sure.
And sadly, that falls into like respectability politics. Same thing with trying to like present ourselves a certain way. Our names, our names have always like othered us, even from like back in the day. That's why we got slave master names and stuff. But it's sort of like a way for us to reclaim like the names that we lost. So it is sadly like it's evident and it's needed simply because we know how the world is working and how it may currently progress to work, as we've seen with Trump in office and things like that.
I agree with y'all because like Adriana said, it's sad that we have to be mindful on what we name our children, because hopefully things change in the future, but their name can literally base how their future is also. And it's not, we can't even like throw the discrimination at the workplace or whatever it is because we don't have proof that they're discriminating. All they do is read our name. We don't know why we didn't get a job. We don't have actual facts as if something happened on the job and they discriminated against us. We can have facts, but like just the whole name thing is actually, I think it's actually kind of scary because why is that a thing? Like it's my name, but yes, it represents me, but it doesn't represent me in the way they look at it. Yeah.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Oh, you ready to go to the next question? Okay. Last question. When have you felt the most proud to be a black woman?
I probably feel the most proud to be a black woman every time I have an accomplishment, big or small. Like, graduating from high school, graduating from early college, now going to college, to a university, getting my bachelor's degree, because like growing up, my parents didn't go to college. Well, they went to college, but they left that semester. And it's just like we're beating the odds. So I feel like it is a big deal because I'm not gonna say it's not a big deal for other races when they graduate and they, pursue a career, but it's more so expected from them. Like they came from families that could support them and give them all the resources, and they came from families that went to colleges and know all about college, and they already held to the standard like you have to go to college. But a lot of us made that choice like to go to college and better our career and our life, so we don't fall under the stereotypical black person. Like,
Yeah, I know. I feel like the time that I felt the most proud was when I went to study abroad. I was the only black woman who went with two, Hispanic counterparts. And it was very isolating, but I felt like I was able to be comfortable in my culture and show that exactly. Even when it came to difficult conversations about my hair and stuff, I still felt like I was able to sort of advocate for what they may not know, even when there was a little inward incident. I still was able to stand my ground and let them know, like, hey, like, this is not okay. I know you're in India, but I'm from America. So you need to understand, like, what is respectable of you in the face of people and even out of the face of people that you may disrespect. So, yeah, I felt like I ate that up.
I feel the same as Cameron. Like going to college, not to say that like a lot of black people don't, but I came from a stereotypical like black household. My mama had all four of us pretty young. She didn't graduate. Well, she recently did, but she didn't graduate until just recently. Just etc. So I feel like me graduating high school for one was an accomplishment as a black woman, and then me graduating college was an accomplishment as a black woman. Getting the dean's list, president's list, GPA was high. Like I feel like this school in general was a really big accomplishment because for one, I didn't see myself going to college or even graduating, and then I feel like in my family, I was a first generation, so I was like really proud of that, and I think that's the most proud I've felt to be a black woman. Also. Now, I think, I don't know, I just really like being black. I feel like
me too.
I feel like we set the standard in a lot of things, like we actually did. Like the music, I feel like we wouldn't have peanut butter, light switches, road signs, rock music, pop music, clothes, like yeah, I feel like just people don't want to admit it, but without black women, a lot of this stuff wouldn't
be around.
Wouldn't be around. Even when black men created, they always had a loyal black woman by their side, helping them accomplish their dreams, accomplish their goals. You got black doctors, black lawyers. So
and to know that and to know that black women are like the number one most educated statistic within the world is just so empowering as a whole. You know.
Yeah, because to some people it may seem a little like, oh my gosh, she's proud to be a black woman because she went through college. But everybody knows college isn't easy. And then also, when you don't have those resources, like, yes, our parents support us, but they're basically the blind leading the blind because they don't know much about college. They don't. When I talk about college to my mom, well, when I did, girl, you went to college how many years ago for one semester. So it's like, you can't relate that to me. And it's like I said, they support us, but they don't know what we actually going through really. And I don't blame them because, but it's just the harsh reality. So yeah, I feel like that's a really big deal that we're breaking those generational curses and still being successful. And you don't need college to be successful also, don't get me wrong, but that still is a very big milestone if you do choose to go that route. And then also, I'm proud when I just wear my hair so many different ways. And then they ask, how do you get it like that? Oh, I love the hair. And so many compliments. You could be 10 different people in 1 week if you want to, if you got the time to.
Exactly. Yeah, like hairstyles, big part of being black. And, white people, y'all can't do it.
And it's funny because they've been trying to copy our style. Them braids are going to slip out. But, alright. That's all.
What's your favorite part of black culture?
Ooh, wait.
Our favorite part of black culture?
I'll
definitely say like the vibes, like what I mean by that is like the cousin sleepovers, everybody fitting on the floor on one bed, your grandma or mom making Kool-Aid or making hot dogs and getting pizza for the birthday party, learning like line dances. Then of course our music. I love our music. and then also how we're kind of like, with our style, we're kind of repeating the years,
like the 90s.
Yeah, we are biting off the other years
Just a
and
little.
putting our twist to it. But I just like how it just never gets old, and you can still look good and dress how people dressed in the 80s or 90s. So I think that's my favorite part.
And even with the line dances, like the world is literally falling apart.
Yes.
But we're still doing where them fans.
Right. Where them at?
It's like,
Right.
and it's like, it's just, there's a collective happiness that comes with being black, being a part of black culture. I feel like growing up, you've done my hair a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just like,
Yes, it's very intimate.
very
and like,
intimate.
It just feels like, I don't know. It's like girl.
Like,
I don't know how
only we
to
can
explain
understand.
it. Yeah,
Like
Like-
a sisterhood.
yeah.
I feel like black women
The
have
quality
sisterhood.
time.
Yeah, I seen this TikTok and it was a hairstylist and the client. They just met the first day, and this white lady came up, said some out of pocket. And right after that, they started kiki, haha. I feel like we can communicate without talking.
Yeah,
Because we always know what's going on. I think that's my favorite part, and also the vibe. You know, the cookout, the sleeping on one big air mattress in the living room, all of that. The music too,
Yeah.
and the food. I love soul food.
I forgot the food.
Well, yes. How can you
How
forget
can
that?
food?
I don't care. I like fried chicken.
Oh,
I do. Candy.
Not being that stereotype.
yeah. Oh,
That's not bad.
Okay, hard question.
oh.
What's your least favorite thing about being a black woman? Let me see.
I would say in not black people, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of the times a lot of stuff is swept under the rug. So like you will have like older black men like uncles, grandpas, and they be touching on their nieces and nephews. And I feel like a lot of the times older black women don't really say anything, and it's probably because they were taught to follow your husbands, not say anything. You know, men are men, let them do whatever they want to do. And I feel like we should just stop letting the men do whatever they want to do. And I feel like that's probably my least favorite.
My least favorite is probably, and I also have a bad habit of doing this, but how other black women put other black women down. Because I feel like we need to learn how to, instead of putting each other down, give constructive criticism. And then also, when someone does give constructive criticism, we tend to take offense to it. Like, oh, why are we on TikTok having discussions and battles about what hair type you have? Why are you trying to prove you have a looser curl? Texture than someone else? Like, why is that a discussion? Like, I think all our hair is beautiful. So I just feel like the way we put each other down, even though we do stick together a lot, but it's times where we put each other down. And
like in shows like Baddies.
That's so.
I don't want to say like, I don't know how to say it, but I feel like I just really hate, I don't like baddies. And I hate seeing like when older black people get angry in the drive-thrus. I feel like I hate when I see us yell in public. It just reinforces the stereotype that we're angry black women. I just hate this so much. I hate how we whoop our kids, or like, I just really don't like how a lot of people do stuff in public or just in general, and it just reinforces the stereotype that we're ghetto, we're loud, we're this, we're that, and I don't know, and baddies and all of those shows like that 6 years, I feel like they just make us look bad.
Yeah, and the shows like Pop the Balloon. As a black woman, why are you going up there to let a man?
Exactly. In general, why are you doing that?
Any woman. Why are you going up there to let a man
spin around?
Exactly, spin around, let me see, or pop the balloon because you're a flight attendant. They think you just flying all around the place. I don't know which legs open. Like, nah, I need my woman local with me everywhere I go. And then they actually, like, you're going on a show to tear women down, and you're okay with knowing that. I don't think it's funny.
It'd be the black man.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I do think black men are kind of a big problem in the black culture. Yeah.
And I don't know why, because half the things they be saying about the women apply to their mother.
Yeah.
Or yes.
I'm just saying, like, you're saying that's me. That's me. But like, you're commenting on a woman's shape, and your mom's shape isn't up to par. Or you're commenting on how a woman take care of her kids, but your mama was out with her boyfriend, and y'all was watching each other. Like,
Or they hate women with kids. And
Yeah.
But they got baby mamas.
Exactly.
You got 12 baby mamas and 12
it's like
kids.
the double standards. So, yeah. But other than that, I love being black.
I don't know. I feel like
We're working on it.
we're definitely
We're working
working
on
on it. And the black male aspect, I feel like it does come from, self-hatred with the, and like I feel like they perpetuate that on to black women because that is the only people that they deem as beneath them. Because in every other sort of aspect, every other race is deemed as beautiful. Ooh, it's Latina. Ooh, Asian. But when it comes to black women, it's like,
Either fetishize or they just don't like that.
colorism.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's a big one. And then also, even though Adriana did say earlier, she don't think it's gonna be much change happening. I feel like, especially like our age group now, we're actually trying to push out change. We're actually trying to, like for TikTok, for example. It was, when it first started, it probably was predominantly white up there, but it's so many black creators up there, like, we're running TikTok. That's why they're trying to take it away from us, because we're learning so much. We're spreading positivity. We're, like, raising awareness of different things that, you didn't know before. Like, there's so many things that I didn't know before I hopped on TikTok, and I'm like, oh.
If we didn't have TikTok, I wouldn't know Kwanzaa wasn't African. I would have known that it was actually like a black holiday.
Like,
I think it's celebrating black culture. Like, guess what it is? I thought it was like an African holiday. I would have known that without
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and like you said, SA, like more people are speaking out on their experience, which make other people feel comfortable to do the same. And I feel like we are changing. We are trying to change, but it's gonna take a while. But I'm not gonna say we're not changing at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the legislation. But I do feel like we, as a generation, changing with TikTok. I see a lot of people speaking up on like stuff that happens in the black community, and I do think that we're changing.
Alright. Exactly. Wow. I love this conversation with you. This was nice.
Me too.
Alright.
All right, everyone say bye.
Bye.